One of the big questions is,
what is money?
For practical purposes, it exists in a series of heterogeneous databases, very different databases.
do you believe in crypto?
Digital currency may be an answer, but it is the highly speculative asset.
I do own Bitcoin.
There is no second best.
Welcome to the Crypto Curious podcast, your weekly crypto crash course. Every Wednesday, join us in the dynamic world of cryptocurrency as we cover everything from major stories to short, sharp news bites. If you're new to crypto, we recommend starting with our early episodes. We break down the basics and give you a solid foundation to understand the crypto world. Tune in, laugh and learn. It's crypto made easy. This week on the show, election results are in, and with the Trump win, the bulls are on parade. Bitcoin and Ethereum are hitting new highs. Meanwhile, D.O.G.E can't seem to stop climbing. It's about 140% up this week, and Elon Musk has got a lot to talk about with his US debt-inspired meme coin D.O.G.E agency. Also, Aus Crypto Con is around the corner, and we've got our good friend Dave Haslop joining us to share what's in store for Australia's biggest crypto event of the year. That's right, folks. My name's Tracy, and this week Craig and I are joined by a fave of the podcast, Dave Haslop. If you've been a long-time listener, you'll know Dave. He's known for many things in the Australian crypto scene, but right now he's knees deep getting ready for Aus Crypto Con, which is very much his baby. And as I mentioned, this is probably the biggest crypto event in Australia, but probably one of the biggest ones over here in our hemisphere. Welcome along, Dave. Thanks for coming back.
Awesome to be back, Trace.
Hey, Craig.
G'day, guys. Dave, I'm sure you're pumped that Bitcoin's pumping and you've got a conference right around the corner. I'm sure you're selling some last-minute tickets now, aren't you?
I honestly could not be happier with the markets right now. Definitely tickets are flying at the moment. So usually the case in the last 2 weeks leading into the event is where most events, regardless of the industry, most events will generally do most of their tickets. But this year, the demand is definitely much higher than it's ever been.
So can it sell out then? Will it sell out, or what's the deal? It's a big venue.
It can sell out, definitely, but we've also got space to extend if we need to. So we've got contingencies in place if that were to happen.
Okay. Look, I just want to point out that obviously we're going to go into this in our first story, that we've hit all-time highs, the market's pumping, but I've just said this, Tuesday the 12th of November is the day where it set the bull market on. Everything's going on. I'm getting messages from normies, people I haven't heard from for ages, asking, is it too late to buy? What's going on? We've seen the AFR's just done an article, 9MSN's done an article, J mentioned Bitcoin price on the news this morning. It's just been one of those 24 hours, hasn't it?
That's right. I think today is the day. You've nailed it. And we'll talk about the election, but I think it's probably a combination of Trump shitting it in, really. He got all three. Let's go through the story, but it's a perfect storm trade.
It is a perfect storm. I think let's go on to our first story, because this time last week in the podcast, Craig, you did say that there could be a post-election pump, and boy, were you right. With Donald Trump winning the US election, we're seeing one of the strongest post-election pumps in crypto history. Bitcoin has hit new all-time highs, peaking at over 89K, while Ethereum, after a slower few months, finally blasted past the 3,000 mark. We're talking US dollars here, folks. So Trump's victory, combined with his pro-crypto promises, has investors very excited about potential regulatory changes, possibly creating a path forward for crypto to really thrive. Now, Standard Chartered had even predicted that the crypto market could quadruple to a $10 trillion market cap by 2026, with Bitcoin reaching 200,000 USD and Ethereum over 10,000 USD. And I think we're probably just touching that 3 trillion market cap at the moment, Craig.
That's right, Trace. I did mention that last week. And I think the result that kept everyone off guard really was Trump winning all three. He won the Senate, he has House of Representatives, and over 250 pro-crypto candidates have won their seat. So this is looking very favorable for the crypto investors here. And we're going to get 4 years, hopefully, of really good regulation that Trump's been promising. But yeah, the prices now are going crazy. Dave, what do you think? Do you think this is a short-term pump, or are you sensing this is the start of something crazy?
This is the beginning of the true beginning, I think. So I mean, we've been here a long time, but we're at, a global adoption rate of maybe 5, in some places 10%. And normies still don't know what Bitcoin is and how powerful it is. We see it on our own socials. We see comments about Bitcoin being a scam. And it's like, are you serious? Like, the days of calling Bitcoin a scam are long gone. It's a regulated asset now. Government's backing it. The banks are behind it. So I think it's definitely here to stay. The election results absolutely helped. However, I also think that this was going to happen regardless of who won. And if Democrats did win, I do think that we would have seen a little bit of a dump, but I think it would have been short-lived. I think this was going to happen regardless.
And just another thing, there was a senator from Wyoming. She's in the US and she's spruiking on Twitter. She's saying she wants to put a Bitcoin strategy to the government with a plan for the US government to buy 1 million Bitcoin, roughly 5% of the total supply across 5 years, and hold it for at least the next 20 years. So this is crazy stuff.
I mean, look at the catalyst of that, right? If they really did do a $14 billion Bitcoin reserve fund, then what's to say that other nations around the world don't go, well, we should do a Bitcoin reserve fund as well, and we'll put $14 billion in. And then next thing you know, you've got 10 different nations all running a Bitcoin reserve fund. I really think this is the beginning of the beginning.
Feeling bullish. Tracy, what do you think? How's your feeling? I know you're extremely active in the group chat today.
Yes, like I said to you, it's because I'm getting comments left, right and centre, people I haven't heard from for years popping up today, and driving the kids to school in the car, and Triple J's mentioned. I just think it's just everyone's woken up. People that haven't talked about this for the last 2 years are now turning around and talking about it. So I think we're in for a really big 6 months. Will it be a big 12 months? I mean, Craig and I have just been talking offline about how long we think this market cycle lasts for, and that's probably going to be the question that everyone talks about. There's always something that we're talking about. When will the bull market start? How long will the bull market last for? But I think when we've talked about the institutions that have been here for a while, I guess we need to look at certain things like the fact that the ETF did bring them in, so they've all been able to buy early now. What keeps the retail investors here for longer?
Yeah, well, it's probably worth mentioning just on the ETFs there, a few days after the election, $1.3 billion in Bitcoin in a single day net flow, all-time high. Ethereum now has woken up, 200 million yesterday. So for the first crypto cycle in history, we're getting institutional level FOMO, government level FOMO. So it's really anyone's guess on how those numbers can go. I know everyone's watching them quite closely.
And a bit of an interesting point for you as well is that you mentioned the crypto market cap, the total market cap, the forward trade sitting at just under 3 trillion. We still haven't hit the all-time high of the amount of capital that's in the market yet. So we're operating 3% below the all-time high. So for Bitcoin and assets to be hitting the prices they are with less capital than what was in the market last bull run, that suggests that retail hasn't really come into the market yet. So we're just getting started.
Yeah, and I think retail do tend to come in with a few more of those interest rate cuts in the US predominantly. What have they had? 2? I think it was the 3rd and 4th where retail really came in last cycle. But, you know, we've got the interest rate cuts. We've got the right person in power now for the policies, and we've got liquidity in the world where it needs to be. So it's that perfect storm. But look, we've also got to talk about the media coverage and the celebrity influencers, and Musk in particular, when it came to Trump's campaign. So I think, should we move on to our next story, boys? Let's do it. This week, Dogecoin and its meme cousin, D.O.G.E, are making big headlines and big gains. Dogecoin has shot up 140% in the last 7 days, and D.O.G.E, which is on Ethereum, rocketed 191%. This is largely driven by Elon Musk's public appearances and recent comments about the US debt. As the US debt has surpassed $35 trillion, Musk warned that the government spending could drive America into bankruptcy, calling this level of debt growth unsustainable, obviously. So Musk's comments and support for the hypothetical government agency, which he talked about, Department of Government Efficiency, nicknamed D.O.G.E, have drawn huge interest from investors all over the world. So it's pretty wild that these meme coins, you know, are not just tied into culture now, but tied into these bigger economic themes. And it raises the question, could meme coins like this keep riding this high, or is this a bit of a concern?
Yeah, I think Dogecoin's an anomaly. I think Dogecoin's is its own bracket. It's the top tier meme coin. It's been around, it's OG, and we always say when Doge starts pumping, that's when you know the bull's coming, and it's now taken out its highs from earlier this year. It's not quite at all-time high just yet, but you might remember last cycle, its all-time high, it was smashed at 70 cents during an Elon Musk skit, which was peak simulation. But honestly, I think Dogecoin is something that we need to treat as its own beast. It's been in the top 10. It's been as long as Bitcoin and Ethereum now. It will still be around probably in the next 10 years. And when we're talking about crypto asset ETFs, why wouldn't they do a Dogecoin ETF? It has the most liquidity. Its market cap's huge. What about you? What's your thoughts on Dogecoin?
You basically took the words right out of my mouth, mate. I totally agree with you. Dogecoin is in a league of its own. I think that the rest of the meme coin market is dangerous, just like the NFTs. It has its place. It's brought new people into the market. It's attracted more liquidity. It's had its turn, but I think it's time that we get back to some serious business here and get on with actually building things with utility and purpose. It's fun to punt, right? It's fun to have a bit of a gamble and a bit of a bet on these meme coins and all that sort of stuff. But I do think that when you're trying to get an entire industry adoption like we are, it just becomes a bit of a laughing stock after a while. So I think that they've had their place, but Doge is in a league of its own. It annoys me how much Doge really pumps, to be honest, because I used to have so much Doge. It's comical in a way as well. I think Elon is just a funny guy. But yeah, I totally agree. Meme coins, probably not the best of ideas to be investing in, but Doge is probably a safe bet.
Well, I think just on the meme coins bit, I'm seeing data now. This pump fund, 10,000 coins launched today. My hunch is that these low market cap meme coins might be in the fourth quarter here. You don't normally see these narratives last for longer than 12 months and friends punting on sub $1 million market caps. I mean, have some fun, but be very careful. But there's not to say that, you know, the big ones like the Pepes and the Shiba, and they're on all exchanges, and maybe the average Joe can just jump on and wants to get something cheap. That's probably the use case for that. But yeah, Dogecoin wins again.
It does. And I do wonder whether he'll bring it back and you'll be able to buy your Tesla with Doge or fill up your Tesla, and what plans he does have there.
Well, I think that he's going to be launching an on-site currency for X, right? And it has to. Surely they're not going to make their own. So I'd say Doge would be a good choice for the X currency.
There was actually something that a good friend of the show, Ben, brought up the other day. A stat that's been forgotten about is Binance helped fund the Twitter sale. So Binance helped acquire Twitter with the Elon Musk deal, and everyone's kind of slept on that. So I think when he eventually realizes his dreams of turning X into a payments app, I think he wants to be like the Grab or the Dogecoin of the West. Binance could play a part in that as well.
Binance Pay, it's a big product.
Yep.
There you go.
He's got the Binance hat on.
Yeah, mate.
Well, speaking of, let's talk now for our third story about Aus Crypto Con and what to expect this year. Craig and I have been to show 1 and show 2, and we will be there in 2 weeks' time for show 3. Very excited. Everyone I speak to, very excited about coming along in Sydney over the weekend. Dave, what is going on this year? What can you tell us about anything that's different from years gone by? What can we expect?
Yeah, so, I mean, the biggest difference this year is that we're in Sydney. So the first year we did Gold Coast, then we did Melbourne. Sydney, I think, is settling in to be a good home for us, a good base for us. So we've tested 2 other cities, obviously. We're at the ICC, the International Convention Centre, right on Darling Harbour. So in terms of venue, you just don't get any bigger or better than the ICC in Australia, really. Like this sort of the cream of the crop. Yeah. So venue-wise, it's going to be amazing. The size of the event's very much the same as previous years. However, this year, what we're doing different to last year, and this is a big learning from us, is that we're building the keynote stage in the event. So rather than having the keynote theatre as a separate sort of end of the venue, we're building it inside the venue so that people can access it and find it much easier. We've got some great big international speakers and a huge big yacht party and Aussie first crypto drone show. It'll happen right above the crypto yacht in the middle of Darling Harbour.
Wow, I did not see that one. That is super cool. Okay. And you've got Charles as one of your speakers.
Yes, that's right. Big Charles. He loves a bit of controversy, Charles does, and so do I. So I'm actually really looking forward to that chat. He certainly speaks his mind when he gets a microphone in front of him and doesn't hold back.
Yeah, he should be happy. They've had a good month the last month.
Yeah, well, actually, I think he's now going to be advising the Trump administration on the crypto regulations as well.
Really? Yeah, ask him, Dave. Yes.
Oh, we definitely will. Don't worry about that. So Kieran from Cointelegraph, he's actually going to be sitting down with Charles and having a bit of an interview with him in a fireside chat.
Oh, no way. Oh, we love Kieran. Oh, that's awesome. Actually, Kieran spoke with him in Singapore as well, didn't he?
That's right, yeah. That's why I decided to link them up, because I know that they've already got a good relationship and a bit of rapport, and Kieran's a great guy, he's a great speaker. He's good at getting the juice, so we definitely want some juice.
I think Raoul Paul will be a good one too.
Yeah, Raoul is an absolute gentleman. So I was really fortunate a few months back, and I got to have dinner with him and the team and when he visited Sydney, and he's a really, really nice guy. I felt bad for him because he was so jet-lagged and he just put on a happy face and he got on with the job and he did a great job, but he's such a nice fella.
Oh, good. I'm glad that you said that. I kind of would expect that from him. He seems really cruisy.
He's very funny too, very funny guy.
Is he in person or will he be virtual?
He'll be virtual this year, and I have discussed with him about in person next year, and he has said yes.
Oh, wicked. Okay, that'd be great. All right, well, so you've got some really good speakers, as always. Like, I always enjoy going and listening to all the speakers, and I know you've got some awesome stands. Me and Craig always do the rounds, get as much merch as possible because we're merch hags. We love a bit of merch. But, yeah, there's always some good merch. Bamboo, obviously, will be there as well. We've also got some merch to give out. But I think this is perfect for any of our listeners listening now on the Crypto Curious podcast. If you can make your way to Sydney, if you're in Sydney, come along, because the first year that we were there in the Gold Coast, we had so many people, so many noobs coming along, Craig. Remember, there was like, it was all industry, but so many new people coming in that had no idea about the industry. It was really refreshing. I think last year there seemed to be a lot of industry folks. So I'm really keen to see if we can get a lot more people fresh learning about crypto coming along. I think it's the perfect time as well.
It's been a big target for us this year. So last year, we were in a bear market. The market had only just started picking up during our event last year. So the general attendance last year were people that were still here, right? People that were still in the industry, they stuck around. And the year before, like you said, was definitely a lot of beginners. So this year, something that we've done differently in our own systems is really try and target that beginner market as well, because the whole point of the event is to educate and it's to grow the industry and grow the space. It's a great opportunity for those, especially now. Like you, Trace, I'm getting phone calls from people I went to high school with 20 years ago. Dave, I heard you're into Bitcoin and all this. Now's the chance, like, get him to actually learn from industry experts and see the industry in its entirety here in Australia and realise that it's actually a real thing. It's not just something that's on the internet.
Absolutely. And you know what? If there's any women listening out there, we're having a women's event inside on Sunday. If you want to find out a bit more, jump on the Facebook group and hit me up and I can tell you a bit more. But yeah, that's inside the venue on Sunday afternoon with a bunch of sponsors there. So there's something for everybody. Come along. Our stand, plenty of stand. I know there's a bunch of other educators along there as well. So if you haven't got a ticket, do so. We'll put some show notes below where you can grab your tickets. But I think we'll go for a break now, and when we come back, our short, sharp news bites. Welcome back. You're listening to the Crypto Curious podcast. Myself, Craig, and Dave Haslop is our guest today. Now it's time for our short, sharp news bites brought to you by the Bamboo app. As always, we're going to pass the mic to Dave. What's up first for our short, sharp news bites?
So up first is Trump eyes the SEC shakeup. So with Trump's win, the SEC's crypto stance could see a major shift, and Trump has vowed to replace the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, which we are all looking forward to, who is also known for his tough stance on crypto. And he names like Hester Peirce, who is a pro-crypto SEC commissioner, and Dan Gallagher, which is Robinhood's chief counsel, are being floated as possible replacements. Trump's criticism on Gensler's regulatory actions against crypto have sparked hope that the war on crypto might end. Gensler's term officially runs out in 2026, but historically, SEC chairs have resigned with a change in the White House, making a leadership change likely to come January 20.
Woohoo! Yay.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Yeah, that's a good one. What's next, Craig?
MicroStrategy's Bitcoin portfolio surpasses $20 billion. The ROI is now over 100%. And now this officially completes the greatest .com comeback of all time. They've finally hit all-time high, the MicroStrategy stock price, beating their previous all-time high of the year 2000 in the .com boom. So this completes a 23-year turnaround by Michael Saylor, and I think he literally just bought some today too. He's just buying. One of the all-time convicted plays, and Could this be the richest guy in the world eventually if he keeps this up? Who knows? Let's see.
Honestly, I love Saylor. The conviction of this man is just...
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. If you're ever wavering, you just put one of his talks on, you're like, I need to buy more. We need to buy more. Oh, okay. Institutions are betting big on real-world assets or RWA tokenizations. They're diving into tokenizations as real-world assets with estimates suggesting that these RWA markets could hit up to 30 trillion by 2030. Giants like BlackRock are leading the charge with tokenized assets now addressing pricing inefficiencies and making traditional liquid assets like real estate more accessible. Tokenization benefits like enhanced liquidity, lower costs, and automated compliance are appealing to both investors and traditional finance. However, challenges remain, including custody complexities and the need for regulatory framework to ensure security and transparency. So this is an article that came out in a couple of places during the week. But again, we've talked about real-world asset tokenization a few times on the show, and I think with Trump coming in and looking at this regulatory framework, this is going to be a buzzword next year and ongoing, which is why I think this could maybe drag out the bull market a little bit further.
Well, that's a narrative play for Ethereum. Larry Fink has said that he sees BlackRock tokenizing assets on ETH. So it's a long play, let's see.
Yeah. All right. What's up next, Dave?
Up next, Detroiters will be able to pay their taxes in crypto next year using PayPal, which is very interesting. Starting mid-2025, Detroit residents will be able to pay city taxes and fees in crypto using PayPal. Detroit is the largest US city to offer this option. The city is encouraging blockchain entrepreneurs to propose civic applications that could improve transparency, data security, and public services to support Detroit's goal of becoming a tech-friendly hub. That's very cool. PayPal's making a lot of little moves like this that I think are turning into something big. So they've made some moves here in Australia with the crypto exchanges. I think they've been really strategic with how they're playing this next market cycle.
Cool. So Coinbase has launched wrapped Bitcoin on Solana to boost DeFi. I know Solana has tried to become a bit of a DeFi hub. So Coinbase is supporting them, which means you can now put your Bitcoin into Coinbase, wrap it up and send it to Solana on chain to interact with all of the degen activity on Solana. So I think that's a good move and Coinbase just keeps on creating new products, keeps on shipping. So that's a winner. And by the way, the Coinbase stock is completely flying also. That's a hidden thing that we haven't mentioned.
You know what? Just stocks in general the last couple of days have been doing super well, haven't they?
Yeah, wrap us up, Trace.
Last one to go out with, D.G.E, meme with a mission. D.G.E started as a fun reward token on Farcaster, letting people tip creators with a token that's part of the D.G.E chain. It's a blockchain layer known for experimental community-driven apps, but D.G.E has been facing a big challenge lately. They're trying to switch away from their current provider, Conduit, after a major tech issue disrupted transactions and user funds. In short, they're pushing for more control to improve the chain for their community. So we are very close with one of the founders of D.G.E, and if you're interested in more of this story, we're actually going to drop a bonus episode this week with one of the D.G.E founders. But again, yes, interesting stuff from D.G.E. If you're interested.
Trace, D.G.E's up 63% today.
You're kidding. It dropped, I think, when the news came out last Friday, it dropped about 10%. So, but they are just fanatical, the Farcaster guys, with this. It's interesting. Again, and Colton, one of the founders we spoke with, it's a really short, sharp bonus episode, about 15 minutes. We'll pop it out Thursday, Friday. Really interesting stuff if you're interested to hear more about D.G.E. Any other stories that we missed there?
There'll be plenty more. This shit's kicking off. Shit's gone crazy. So enjoy the ride that you're on.
Put out an X post to just tell everyone to start getting comfortable with this feeling. Get comfortable with all-time highs and get comfortable with that euphoria, because I really think it's going to stick around for quite a while.
Oh, wow. What a warm and fuzzy that was. Get comfortable with feeling good. I'm happy with that. I think that is a beautiful way to end the show, folks. Some nice sentiment there from Dave. You can see Dave in a couple of weeks if you come to the Aus Crypto Convention in Sydney. You can see Dave, you can see me and Craig, and the Crypto Curious show will be live. So come along. We'll put some details in the show notes below. Thanks again for listening to the podcast today. If you are getting hounded by people that want to know more about crypto, they can level up by listening to the podcast. So send them a link wherever you're listening to the podcast right now. Join the Facebook Crypto Curious page or have a look on Instagram. If you're looking at dollar cost average into the market, check out the Bamboo app. You can do so with the Curious code and you'll get $10 of free Bitcoin. There's a link in the show notes below.
That's okay. Thanks for having me on again. I love doing the show with you guys. And just a quick note, my mum told me to say hi to you, Tracy, because she's a Bamboo user. And she said to say thank you. She loves the Bamboo app. So I thought I'd throw that in there.
Oh, wow. Well, hello to Dave's mum. That's awesome. I love that. That's wicked. Thanks for being on. I think it's probably your fourth time, I think now. You're one of the OGs. But thanks, everybody. We'll tune in again next week. Bye for now.
See you guys.